Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. When I was a young child, I used to go to Greek school, as I'm sure many of you did as well. And God bless my old Greek school teacher, Kyria Eva. She taught us the alphabet and paterimon, and that's about it. Other than those two things, she really just told us stories. And being Greek, of course, she was a very good storyteller, so I remember some of her stories to this day. One of her stories struck me, though. One day, she told us the story of her husband dying. She told us that her husband had been sick for a very long time. And one day, as he was lying in bed, he began to make the sign of the cross. She said he made the sign of the cross over and over. She told us as soon as he started making the sign of the cross, she knew that he would be dying very soon. Her husband continuously made the sign of the cross, told her that he loved her, made his cross one more time, and then he finally died. Now this sounds like a sad story, especially to be telling little Greek school kids. But Kyria Eva told us that she was actually not sad when her husband died. She said she was happy, even. What do you mean, Kyria Eva? Why were you happy that he died? We asked her. She told us, I was happy when my husband died because I knew he was going to be with God. What a beautiful concept for someone to have hope even in the midst of death. Now, this service on Saturday morning is often overlooked. It comes right after one very popular service, the Lamentations of last night, and before our most popular service, the midnight service of Pascha. And I admit that up until a few years ago, I did not really know much about this service myself. I simply knew it as the service where the priest or the metropolitan throws flowers around the church. On YouTube, you can find many videos of priests in Greece running wild, throwing flowers and going crazy. And even more crazily, while the priest throws flowers around the church at all the people in the pews and up in the choir loft bang pots and pans and make all kinds of noise. Now, these theatrics in the churches in Greece are an expression of joy. This is our first joyful service of Holy Week. It is the pre-resurrection service. Today we are halfway between the death of Christ and the resurrection of Christ. So today, more than any other day, is a day of great hope in our church. Hope comes to us in the midst of uncertainty. Hope is what gets us through adversity. Hope is what helps us to anticipate a better future than perhaps our current situation. And this hope comes to us today even in the midst of Christ's death. During this service, it is tradition that the priest, or the metropolitan as we did today, throws flowers or rose petals covering the church and all the people who are present. Why throw flowers? Flowers in the Orthodox Church are signs of God's love, God's mercy, God's goodness. The flowers are a sign of life. We see life when a new flower blooms. And though the world is full of much pain, of much suffering and sadness, sickness, and certainly death, the church gives us hope in renewed life. And all these flowers, representing mercy, love, goodness, and life, all these flowers, as they hit the floor, are said to pave the way for Christ's journey back from Hades to the land of the living. Today, during this service on Holy Saturday morning, Christ goes down to Hades to defeat death itself, to defeat sorrow, and his path from his death to his resurrection is lined with love, mercy, and renewed life. Today is indeed a day of great hope and joyful anticipation. Today we sing the hymn Anasto Theos, which means Arise, O God. This is a sort of prelude to Christos Anesti, Christ is risen, that we will sing very soon. Tonight we sing Christos Anesti because Christ will finally rise. But today he has not quite risen yet. So we sing like a crowd of people in great anticipation and full of hope when we sing Anasto Theos. And now I thought it would be fitting to close with a message about hope itself from Saint Nectarios of Aegina. Now, why Saint Nectarios, you might ask? Saint Nectarios is the patron saint of the healing of cancer and other illnesses. And since the world can use healing and hope now more than ever, I thought it would be only right to hear what a saint known for healing has to say about hope. St. Nectarios says, "People who hope in God are truly blessed. God is always a help to them, and they have no fear of anything that other people might do to them. They hope in God and do what is right. They have placed all of their hope in Him, and they confess Him with all their heart. Those who hope in the Lord walk calmly through the struggle of life and pass along its way untroubled by worldly cares. They work without ceasing to do good, whatever is pleasing and perfect, and their works are blessed by God. They sow with a blessing and receive the fruit of their labors abundantly. They have boldness before the Lord and are not thrown off course by the temptations that surround them. In the trials of life, they do not give up, but they hope, because where things appear to be impossible, God indicates a way out. Through faith, they also await the hope of righteousness. Those who hope in the Lord do not hope in money, nor in the extent of their power, but are content with the assistance that God provides for them. Those who hope in the Lord are full of faith and love towards God. They live with courage in their good conscience. They make their appearance with boldness before their Heavenly Father and call upon Him to come to earth in His kingdom and for His will to be done on earth as it is in heaven. Those who hope in the Lord are entirely devoted to Him and raise their hearts to our good and immortal God. They ask Him, the supreme God of good and immortality in the kingdom of heaven, and God listens to them. Blessed are the people who hope in the Lord.